what do you think that the future of AI looks like, and can Black people be involved in that?
You can actually be a part of this historical movement and not be on the outside.
I'm not making predictions. I'm working on the things that are going to come out in the next 5 to 10 years. So I know what's
Mm.
coming because in all these models, you don't know where they got their data from. We wanted to create a tool where there was actual real life data transparency.
We were asking ourselves, how can we, play more of a historical role when it comes to shaping the Black and Brown community in the AI space?
Do you think that AI generated images hurt Black photographers and visual artists? Welcome back to the Working While Black Show, your go-to resource for career growth and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Walter Gaynor II, and today our guests are Abron Maldonado. He's the co-founder of Create Labs, and also Karen Okonkwo, the co-founder of Tonl. We had a really amazing conversation about AI. They joined me to talk about how AI is empowering our community and how they came together to create a solution to image generation. Now, y'all, I don't know if you know this, but AI is getting baked into everything. We're all familiar with the popular, AI-powered chat tools and stuff, but it's literally getting integrated into our entire lives, right? You see a lot of headlines about AI coming for our jobs, replacing. It's like the robot takeover, and whether or not that's true, I don't think that's the thing we should be focused on right now. Um, the things that I'm seeing are a little bit different. The CEO of Shopify, one of the most powerful e-commerce tools in the world, shared an internal memo where he was basically telling everyone who worked for the organization how important it was to start learning more about AI and figuring out ways to bring it into the organization. In fact, the memo was so clear that he was basically being like, hey, the future of your job may depend on it, but not because AI is going to replace them, but more so because he wanted all of his employees to be very knowledgeable about AI and start bringing solutions on how to use it, which is kind of the opposite of the whole like AI taking over, and speaks more to how it's important for all people in the workforce to start understanding these tools and how to use it. It kind of feels like, going from being like a someone who works in a press, pressing newspapers, to understanding how to use computers. I mean, this technology is advancing so quickly, and if you're not familiar with what's going on and what these tools are, you might be left behind. So it's basically like AI is not taking your job, but the people who do understand AI might. So be ready. This in this conversation, the reason I'm so excited about it is because there's these two founders, these two Black founders who came together to bring a solution to image generation. There's a lot of tools out here, but they don't always understand Black people, right? Like the skin tones, the hair textures, all these things. It's like there's a lot of bias in this technology, but they've created a tool that basically removes the bias because they're very intentional on how it's developed. So y'all pay attention to what's going on. They're talking about how why they decided to create this tool. They're talking about why it's important for us to be a part of this conversation so that we're not left behind. And we also talk about why tools like AI image generation can actually help creatives instead of hurting them. So tap in, lock in. If you're curious about this space, want to learn more, then pay attention to what they're about to say because we're starting right now. So I want to just dive into it. My very first question is really about the kind of the bias that exists in AI. I think y'all are creating this at a very interesting time right now, and I'm just very curious. Like, when was the first time that y'all noticed a problem or a bias in this new technology?
For me, it was less about noticing a bias in AI, and it's more so that I've always noticed a bias when it came to imagery. So, to really give a little bit of a background on where I started in the image world, I co founded Tonal with my business partner, Joshua Kissy, because I really felt like imagery was very racially one sided. And not only just racially one sided, but very one sided when it came to how it showcased what the world looked like. And so we really set out on a mission to showcase exactly the multifaceted way that the world looks. And so we knew that if imagery was already very biased in the way that it was being showcased in the media, and then all of a sudden we enter into the AI space, it was inevitable that it also was going to carry into the AI space. And so I was really happy to meet Abron, who I knew was also very passionate about rectifying that as well. And AI is moving so quickly and so fast that I also was aware that we were being left out of these spaces. I was also seeing a lot of images that were being created out there that were missing our faces, or were misrepresenting our faces. And so again, I was really excited to meet Abron again, who is very skilled and passionate within this space.
Yeah, at least for me, I came at it, you know, first I was in the DEI space prior to AI. We were already consulting and advising tech companies on how best to, connect with the community and hire from just like underserved pipelines, tech and talent pipelines. But then when we started our AI journey in the very early stages of GPT and OpenAI as prompt engineers, I saw very early on, just like everything else out there, if you really want diversity and representation in something, you got to like work extra hard. And by putting in default prompts, I was not getting very diverse outputs. So I had to be very intentional, very like, even more thoughtful and how I would describe things to make sure that I saw representation come out of the AI, whether it was imagery or even text. And uh, sometimes I had to prompt things in a way that I wasn't comfortable with, just to get like they were weird guardrails, I guess I would say, and restrictions on certain systems. Like you couldn't really even put the word black into the text prompt fields. Like you would get flagged. And that was probably like a knee-jerk reaction on the guardrails of like, we don't want any racial commentary in the AI system. We don't want people prompting for different racial topics. But if I wanted to just create an image of a black woman, I would get flagged. And then because I was an ambassador, because I was working with the research team and the beta team, I would go back and say, hey, I'm getting flagged for things that I shouldn't get flagged for. You should look into that. And they were very, to their credit, they were very receptive and responsive and said, okay, we've made those adjustments. But now even with like body types and even like skin complexion and like hair textures, it's like, oh, well, you guys missed it again. And this is across all the platforms. So a couple years ago, might be even be just like a year ago now, the Washington Post and I did a piece on like how AI in beauty is defined by all these models. So they tested all the models and they found only 9% of the time did it generate an image of a woman of color when you prompted it for beauty across all these image models. So we knew that we can't just rely on the default, what they call the foundational models, that we had to make our own. And that was the beginning of this journey with Karen and Tonl.
This reminds me of a few years ago, a report coming out. There was just talking about how certain technology doesn't always recognize black people, like as simple as like going to a bathroom in the airport with the kind of touch-free sinks, kind of waving your hand and no water comes on. It's full of soap, but you can't rinse it off. And it feels like y'all are kind of, instead of like waiting for a seat at the table, really building your own table. Does it feel like that for y'all?
So like it was more than just like diversity in race. So when we had this conversation to start this partnership, it was more about a business opportunity to say, hey, instead of licensing your stuff over to other platforms, giving your IP to other platforms so they can use your images, build your own and set your own price, and you charge for your own AI rather than giving your stuff to another AI developer. So it was a business strategy there too.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, that's interesting. Can y'all talk a little bit more about that? We have a lot of people who are listening and tuning in who are currently working. Some are building their businesses, and when it comes to IP and like licensing, that's some topics that people are starting to learn more about. Why was it important for y'all to kind of come together to really put this in motion?
Yeah, I can speak to that a little. For me, I think it's very important for businesses, especially Black businesses, to be keen on evolving your brand. And for us, we've been in the stock photography world for, at that point, by the time I'd reached out to Abron, we had been in business for over 7 years. And we were watching this AI world really take speed. And we had been, what I would say, on the sidelines. When I say the sidelines, we had been providing our data sets to really major brands. And we were asking ourselves, how can we be more on the field? And also, how can we, play more of a historical role when it comes to shaping the Black and Brown community in the AI space? And so I ended up actually seeing Abron teach a webinar, masterclass about marketing. And I was really impressed with just the ways in which he was just showing how AI can really just transform your business. And I wasn't exactly sure how we could work together, but of course, he's brilliant. And he just said, hey, just like you mentioned earlier, how about you take more ownership over your data sets? And really, that seems to be like the next phase here with Tonal is, we know that we have amazing images, and there really is no one else on the market that has premier imagery like us. And the images right now that are being generated through AI look really dreamy, look really just to us not authentic. And so when we're able to train our own images, now people are going to walk away feeling like they have a tonal image, but it also expands the amount of images that can be produced, which is going to, of course, lower expenses for us because we don't need to worry about having to go out there and have multiple photographers shooting all the time. We're reducing costs there, but then we're also expanding opportunities for our customers because now they have a larger reach for their marketing and advertising needs. So there's just this cool expansion that's happening for our clientele and also for our business. So that was one of the reasons why, one of the major reasons why we wanted to partner together, beyond obviously just wanting to step into this market and really showcase what our people look like in the most authentic way.
Okay, I love that answer for a couple of reasons. One, I'm just very big right now on the concept of being community made versus self made, right?
Yeah.
And just what it means to truly come together. And I think that's just something from people from our community that we always just do so much better when we all come together and just create something. And another thing that I love too, we said they're like the only like premium place for like that's beautiful. Premium high quality photos that look realistic. You already had that, but now you add with the AI image uh, as well, image generation as well, and you get high quality realistic images because there's several services that I was excited about using when I started creating images with them. I was like, okay, yeah, this is very beautiful, very artistic, but I just wanted a photo of someone, playing basketball, not doing the Space Jam dunks. So that's awesome. I got to see some of the results of this image generator, and it kind of surpassed expectations of what AI image generation looks like. So one, it's just like a reminder, like, okay, this technology is moving very, very fast. We all need to pay attention. And also just going to congratulate y'all for building something that looks amazing and seems pretty easy to use as well. So I'm also curious though, we kind of spoke about DI a moment, and it feels right now that we're in this place where there's an aggressive push to kind of scale back anything that could be related to DEI. Have y'all faced any skepticism or pushback when trying to um, launch this platform?
No, I mean, it's actually the opposite, and this is probably even like news to Karen, and probably something that we should discuss, back in our next, partnership meeting. Is that this was I'm building a product for nonprofits called Empowered, right? It's going to be like a nonprofit resource, like a social impact AI that a lot of nonprofits are joining to help add their data as a way for them to be discovered by the community in case they're in a situation where they need those services. This was just like a feature, like the image generator was just going to be like another additional feature to that Empowered. The momentum behind Tonal has like probably surpassed Empowered as a product. So now it's like its own product. While it might be a feature within Empowered, like Tonal now stands alone because it is more of a business case rather than a DEI case where like clients are going to come to Tonal and say, okay, what's in your stock photo library? They're going to show them, here are the images in our library. if you want image, you can now dream up any image that might not be in our library that you can generate with the Tonal AI. So they don't have to turn away a customer ever again, because
Mm.
any image is now possible through the generative side or through the actual shots that are physically in their library from IRL. You know, none of that has to do with DEI. If anything, that's maybe like a multicultural strategy of like marketing agencies that need more like diverse and accurate images of body types and actual couples, you know, multiracial, you know, couples and multi-ethnic people and different family types, different family dynamics. These are all the kind of things that you get from the Tonal AI when you just type in family. You don't have to type in Black family. You don't have to type in LGBT family. You just type in family and you get like a diverse mix of how that's represented in the thing. And that's completely separate from any of our missions before that of like what we were trying to do with like DEI and representation with the Empower tool. Karen, I also got the domain Tonal AI, so that's locked down too. So
Hey,
Oh, amazing.
that's awesome. We need to see growth in real time. This is cool. This is something where
that's
it's
what they
like,
call
okay,
building in public. That's what
building in
people
public.
want to see.
Big fan of that. We're all big fans of that over here. I think there's times, keep things to yourself, but like this is I think one is like inspirational to see just like the growth happening in real time. And also it's like, okay, another thing for us to cheer y'all on for. That's amazing. So I'm curious, when it comes to the photos being used and like clients coming to y'all for a diverse range of photos. I love that. I love the growth, especially because like even with whatever pushbacks there are, I still see Samuel L. Jackson doing Capital One commercials. So, but what I'm curious about is in regards to photographers and artists. A huge concern for a lot of people right now is like AI being something that's going to replace a whole bunch of jobs and people. In some cases, it can. In some cases, it won't. But do you think that AI generated images hurt Black photographers and visual artists?
I do not actually. I think that there is always going to be a space for real life images. In fact, I actually feel like photographers are going to be seen as more of a premium. And I believe that photographers are going to be able to maybe even increase their price point because people are going to want to have, you know, physical in real life images. So I believe that um, there's also going to be an evolution of photographers. Photographers are going to maybe just find a different approach beyond the medium that they've become accustomed to. So they're going to stretch a little bit more, and find different ways to actually embrace AI in their toolkit of being a photographer. So I don't see it as something that they're going to compete with. I think it's something that they can embrace that will actually elevate them. Yeah, I don't see it as being a hindrance to their artistry. I see it again as being something that's going to elevate them.
Hmm, I like that.
I mean, and for us, like we could have made this without Karen. We could have just scraped a bunch of images off the internet to make our own image model, but we didn't want to do that. From a responsibility and ethically, speaking, we wanted to create a tool where there was actual real life data transparency. Because in all these models, you don't know where they got their data from. Here is a clear exchange in a handshake and an actual paper agreement between us and Tonal that says there is one exclusive partner for all the images that have come through the Tonal AI, and that's with Tonal, and Karen and Joshua. So you know where the data is coming from, and you know that we got their cosign and their approval to do this on their behalf. Where I could have put out my own Tonal with just a bunch of web scraped images and paid nobody, and compensate and rev share with nobody. Where this is an intentional, fair partnership. So I encourage this as an example. I show this as an example of like how people should be doing business moving forward with other AI companies. Be like, yo, okay, cool. Make sure that I'm part of the rev share. Make sure that I'm part of the subscription revenue. Make sure that I'm part of that. It's clear that I'm in the data set and that everyone knows that, because a lot of people aren't building in public, like we talked about. A lot of people just like doing things on the low, and you don't know how they got their images, how they got their data, and we got a subpoena for that kind of information.
Mm, man. That's that's beautiful, y'all. If you're paying attention right now, we're witnessing a company and a partnership forming that is keeping you in mind, artists in mind, photographers in mind, creator in mind, and people already have businesses that are there to support these individuals. But now there's just like more kind of representation and recognition and respect there as well. And I just love that as a creator myself. I'm cheering y'all on. I might be, I don't know if I'll be your biggest cheerleader. I mean, y'all probably already have a lot of them. Don't want to take their place, but I want to be put on like that cheer team too. Love what's going on. My last question for y'all is what do you think that the future of AI looks like, and like, can Black people be involved in that?
Great question.
What's on your wish list, Karen? Where do you want to see?
Wow. I know. I'm just like, I just see the future of AI. I see more wealth with Black and Brown people, and in what degree I don't know, but I see more Black and Brown people entering into the conversation. I think we, not when I say we, I don't even necessarily mean Black and Brown people. I just think that sometimes people sit back and let other people run the show. And I think through more education, we're going to start to realize that we can take more ownership and enter the conversation, whether the wealth is in knowledge or in coins. I just see more ownership stepping into understanding that you can actually be a part of this historical movement and not be on the outside.
Hmm.
That's what I see for the future right now in this current thought that I have.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like people call me a futurist because of the things that I, predict are fairly accurate. Because I'm not making predictions. I'm working on the things that are going to come out in the next 5 to 10 years. So I know what's
Hmm.
coming. And but what I'm striving for, I don't know if you could tell behind me, I'm a geek. So there's a Black Panther behind me and a Riri Williams,
Love it.
Ironheart. So I think we can achieve a real life like Afrofuturism, reality and a real life Wakanda, and get to that point where we're actually building robots and we're, flying cars and we're building AI in a way that represents us in a positive way. But that's not going to get there if we don't build it ourselves. So,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? If we're going to sit around and wait for folks in Silicon Valley to include us, we're going to be waiting all day. So we just got to get more hands on and build things like this.
I
Right.
love that. Oh, I love that. Y'all, we got homework. We got homework to do. They gave us clear things. Education. Let's get to building. Like, why wait? I love it too because there's just a lot of these resources are very accessible to at least learn about. Maybe you can't afford to sign up for it, but there's a lot of free tools out there. And, YouTube University is very strong. Doesn't have a lot of accreditation, but it got a lot of resources there. So I love this. Thank you both for your time today. I know y'all are very busy, so I want to let you get back to it. But where can everyone follow y'all and just learn more about this new feature, this AI image generator that y'all have created together?
Well,
So let's say start at Tonal, right?
yeah, you guys can go to Tonal, go to tonl.co. You can also follow us on Instagram at TONL. You can follow me personally at Karen Okonkwo.
And I'm at Abron_AI on IG, Create Labs on IG and LinkedIn. Most folks know to find me there as well. And you'll see my travels, as a speaker and also, AI announcements, coming down the line. But just excited to get started. And yes, we do have the tonal.ai domain for when we launch the AI platform. And Cameron will make that announcement when it's ready.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be here to, support, reshare, and all of that too. Love this, love this. Thank you both again for your time. And for everyone watching, we'll have links in the description. Click. And if you have any additional questions for the two guests, feel free to drop them in the comments, reach out to me, or really to reach out to them. But you can also always reach out to me, and I could go harass them and sacrifice my relationship with them, just get you the answers that you're looking for. So appreciate y'all, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Thank you.
So